This episode of Care is brought to you by Target Corned Beef. Parenting is an adventure, and like any other adventure, you've got to work hard and be prepared.
Quest is on.
We're in search for all things parenting. We hear from the kids, from the professionals, and from you, real parents on real issues. It's all happening right here, right now on Care.
Care, the adventures of parenting.
Welcome to Care, the adventures of parenting. It's a brand new television series all about parenting. We raise the issues that no one else wants to raise. We try to break the stigmas, break the taboo. And we're starting heavy with some heavy people. It's all about parental alienation, parental abduction, kidnapping. We're joined by the president of the Single Fathers Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Rondell Fields. And to tell his story, his own personal story of abduction, kidnapping, he will explain it, Mr. Hafiz Parmasad. Before we get into the topic, we want to find out what the man on the street thinks about the whole issue of parental abduction. So let's tune into our parenting news.
I think it goes very often.
Yes? Do you think more moms do it or dads do it?
Well, I think both, you know.
On a scale of 1 to 10, about it.
I think that's a big problem in China today. Yeah.
9 out of 10? 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
How prevalent do you think that is in Trinidad and Tobago? Out of 10?
9.
It basically happens every day, so I believe yes, it's a common thing. Because if the parents is living with the mother tend to tell the child such a bad thing about the father, which is wrong. Because parents are supposed to sort out their thing, because they're adults and children supposed to be children. And I think that parents should stop do that. You know, parents should stop do it. Just plain blank, stop do it.
Out of 10, That's the usual talk where I'm from, so yeah.
So you'd say like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10?
9 out of 10.
In your words, what is parental alienation?
This is when one party, as you say, one party in whichever way, most of the times it happens when, before they get to court, one party keeps the children away from the other party. Most of the time, well, obviously there had to be some form of separation between man and woman, whether married or unmarried. And one party has the children in their care, whether it's with legal custody or without legal custody, and decides to keep the children away from the other party. And this is parental alienation. Sometimes there's a lot
parental alienation can happen emotionally as well, in terms of, I mean, you're allowing the person to go by the father or by the mother.
A lot of brainwashing.
There's a lot of brainwashing going on.
Exactly, there's a lot
of
brainwashing, not allowing the children and the other party to be able to develop properly together, saying things about the party if the person doesn't love you. And it can happen on both sides. Let's not say the father always has to be the recipient. It could happen to the mother as well. But it's trying to alienate that parent from their parental rights to parent, whether it be emotionally, as you said, or physically in the fullness of it.
You're very passionate about raising awareness for fathers.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, because for far too long, people say, well, you know, deadbeat this, deadbeat that, fathers this, fathers that. Yeah. But it seems as though fathers want to be involved and they're not allowed to be involved. Tell me about the Single Fathers Association.
Well, firstly, I mean, to speak on what you spoke of, fathers of this generation definitely would want to be involved, because we are the fathers that were the sons without fathers. So definitely we understand our importance, because many of our fathers weren't there. Whether it was a court order, whether it was just tradition, or whether it was a practice that daddy was in the house, but daddy's role was to just pay money, and mommy's role was to care and nurture, and nobody was ever there. So, I mean, we understand the relevance and importance.
So you guys want to break the cycle.
We've broken the cycle.
Speak to me, because you've said that you are the generation of the fathers who did not have fathers around. Tell me, what are some of the impacts of that?
I mean, definitely.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, as a young boy, I can tell you from my personal experience as well. It's something that, I mean, you want to know what and who you belong to, sense of speaking. You want to know that there's validation for the things that you do. You want to know that someone appreciates or someone accepts what you do as a child as well. Someone that even discipline you, just to see them disciplining, to know that, hey, my dad really loves me, my mom really loves me. And that's really important. And I see it
Isn't
now.
it amazing that you equate love and discipline?
Of course.
A lot of people, I don't think that drives home to a lot of people.
Right.
That children themselves feel more loved when there is a high sense of discipline.
Of course, because it
in their
means you
homes.
care to correct them. And I mean, my sons understand that. And it's very important what we're speaking about, because I see it with my sons. I don't miss a cricket game, then any type of sport, I'm there. I'm there for the training, for the match, for the graduation. I up in the front. And I could see it with them. I could see my
But not
presence.
everyone's allowed that time.
I
Do you think
understand
that's
that.
just an excuse when
To do
people
what?
are not around, when people just... Because a lot, funny enough, in some research that we had done and stuff, of course, everybody blames parenting and the lack of parenting and the lack of time. But then some parents say, but modern world just doesn't allow it. You know, the man is a breadwinner and he's busy, and a lot of men go, I'm busy, and you're never around. You miss dinner, you miss everything.
I think I'm a very pretty busy person, but I prioritize. At the end of the day, I'm very busy. I'm a businessman. I'm in this organization. I'm in a number of organizations, as most of the country may know. But when it comes to my children, I owe them time. You understand? I must be there.
I like the word owe them time.
Of course I do. So at the end of the day, and I see it is me not having it myself is what makes me prioritize that I be there for them. I know when I see my son go to bat, when he's going on the cricket pitch, and he misses the first ball.
He looks up.
And I said, Jaden, look at the ball. And his ears will perk, kind of like, Daddy's there. And you bet your bottom dollar, he'll hit the next ball straight out of the park. And to me, it says something to me. So much now that I even look at my boys in amazement and wonder how they look at me. Because I didn't have that opportunity to look at anyone like that. Because, so I
How do you
kind of
learn
throw my
then?
arms.
If you haven't had an example, how did you learn? How do you see what a good dad looks like? How did you find that out?
And at first, I mean, there's a lot of, I wouldn't even say trial and error. But at first, you would tell yourself, the norm what most people would hear what? I want to be opposite to what I had before.
What you didn't get, what you
opposite.
wanted for yourself.
And I mean, sometimes in the beginning, I blame my dad at first. You would hear this and that. But then I gave him the opportunity to speak to me. And I realized a lot of what he went through. And then when I ended up in my issue as well, I realized I could have been in that same situation that he was in. And I could have just said, hey, what's going on? This is too much drama. Pay whatever money they want, take care of the child, and I go on.
Right.
But then I realized, because listening to his story, and because of listening that, hey, it's not that he didn't care, but he was hurting too. I realized I had to endure the pain to reach to the place I needed to reach. And that's one of the pillars Single Fathers Association was formed, because I wasn't about to allow anything or anyone to separate me from the love of my child. None. Nobody. No court, no judge, no magistrate, nobody, no lawyer couldn't tell me that at the end of the day, I can't see my son as I supposed to. I can't spend time with him as I supposed to. And then I realized there are so many social norms and so many social beliefs as into what a father should be, what a father is. Pay the bill, a father who pays maintenance, a father who pays and buys shoes, he's a good father. Even though you don't want to see the child, that is deemed as a good father, which is, the biggest pack of rubbish you could think about. There are fathers who may lose their jobs, not able to do it, but they love their children. And it's because they're embarrassed, because you go there and you get the worst type of embarrassment. The worst way to emasculate a man is to tell him he can't provide. You come in here to see these children, walk with money next time you come. You don't buy nothing for the children. It is the worst way. And the thing is, sometimes you see it now in front of little boys. And little boys looking at their fathers being emasculated as well. And it puts and drives a fear in them. And I will tell you that I remember I used to hear these stories. And my mother's a lovely woman, a very strong single mother, one of the strongest I ever knew. And she would tell us this story of when she and my dad went to court. And she would say, see, your father always so macho. But when he went to the court, the shirt was out of his pants. And the man should say, put the shirt in your pants. And he jumped. You should have seen. So I always remember when I had to go to court, the first thing that was in my pants was my shirt. Because I was terrified.
It's amazing how stories that you hear as a child really stay with you. I want to go on a break, because when we come back, we're going to talk to Hafiz a little bit.
Right.
He has a story, not of alienation, but of abduction. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk parental abduction when we come back and the real nightmares that go on behind the scenes.
With over 50 years of trusted excellence, Target corned beef is the leading brand you know and trust. It's the more delicious, leaner option. Target corned beef in regular, halal, and less salt. Available at stores nationwide.
An Answer McCall Group company.
We are inviting you guys to join us as part of our studio audience right here on set for Sunny at Sundown. When we shoot live, you'll be here live. Bring the energy, bring the vibe, and you'll even have the chance to win cool prizes. So once you're 18 years and over, send us an email with your name, contact number, and your crew to sunnyatsundown@gmail.com. Children under 18 must be accompanied by an adult. Come check us out. Be a part of our studio audience. Sunny at Sundown. See you then.
Welcome back to Care. Today it's all about parental abduction, alienation, and kidnapping. Talk to me a little bit about what is parental abduction. Is it any different to parental kidnapping? Are there any differences?
No, it's the same thing. I mean, basically it's one party, both parties residing in one place. They've had children together, whether they're married or unmarried. And one of the parties deciding to take the children off to another country or jurisdiction without the permission of the other party, leaving the other party behind, which is also deemed as a left behind parent, leaving their schoolmates, their friends, the life that they know behind to start a new life in another nation, an entirely different nation. So we've had a lot of seminars from Single Fathers Association about that. Up to Father's Day this year, we had a consultation with Mr. Scott Boone, who was actually an American child that was kidnapped and carried to a lot of other nations. And he speaks on the effects that had on him as a child. They couldn't trust anyone. They had to use fake names. A lot of the effects on the psyche that it had on Mr. Scott Boone. So this is something that we're seeing being practiced into Trinidad from other nations and out of Trinidad.
As you talk
to
about
other
being
nations.
practiced in Trinidad, Hafiz, let's bring you into the conversation because you have a personal story with this.
Yes, I have a personal story about the kidnapping or abduction. My son, as a matter of fact, I took all the necessary steps to have a relationship with my son. I went to court. I had several orders. All the orders was breached. One of the orders was a joint custody order. The order that was breached was where neither of the parents was allowed to remove the child out of the jurisdiction, but yet still the mother was allowed to leave with the child and never contacted me. For 8 years, I had no contact with the mother, my son, his relatives, her relatives on the other side. Everybody stayed away. They never gave me any information. But
why would a mother do that?
Well,
give me some background because it doesn't make sense to me. It absolutely does not make sense to me. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. I have no idea what you guys are going through. I have no idea. But was she Trini? Tell me.
She's not Trinidadian. I guess it had a lot to do with race because I am of mixed descent. She's of African descent. And it all boils down to what we would call spite. Mm-hmm. The fact remained, and how I look at it is, if two persons have their differences, there's a child or children involved, those children or the child should not be affected or should not be brought into that situation.
Was there any hints that she was leaving?
No.
You guys were living together at the time?
No, we were living separately.
So you were living separately.
But I did have that.
And you had all the things in place,
yes.
all the different orders
right.
and whatnot.
Yes.
Talk to me about the legality of this whole thing, right? I mean, was she charged?
No, and this is it.
Why do you mean she can't be charged?
She's now out of the jurisdiction. She's not in the jurisdiction of the
orders.
Right.
So technically, she's not breaking the orders where she is.
No, she did break the order where she is. She took the child away.
Well, she's broken it in Trinidad, but from the time she goes to the next country.
No, but Mr. Parmasad's case is a case down the region. She's actually a Barbadian. And I mean, no matter what, Mr. Parmasad's case is actually worse. Reason being, in Trinidad, we are still signed on to the Hague Convention Treaty.
What is that?
We are newly signed on to the, not newly, a couple of years back, signed on to the Hague Convention Treaty. This is a treaty that a lot of nations throughout the world have, so that one party, if they move the child and trying to retain the child in another nation, they are to return the child to the nation, the origin nation, have the proper custodial hearings and a decision made, and then whatever decision is made from there. But in Mr. Parmasad's case, as in a lot of the other nations within our region, aren't signed on to the Hague Convention. So in his scenario, he can't access the Hague Convention. Whereas a father who's from Trinidad, as another father that I dealt with, he was able to access the Hague Convention, have the child returned from Canada to the US, and the child is actually here with him now. The court granted him custody, and the child has returned to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a very costly thing. That's one of my...
it all comes back down to money.
Exactly.
Yes.
Whereas in the vice versa, I mean, we have scenarios where children have been removed from the US and been brought here. Legality, again, is another problem. Cases like Mr. San Honkovic, that predates Trinidad and Tobago being signed to the Hague Convention. He can't access it. So his children has been brought here who are US citizens, and they cannot return because it's not on our legal books as well. It's not a criminal offense. So parents can bring children.
Wait.
It's not a criminal offense.
What is not a criminal offense? Because kidnapping is a criminal offense.
But not parental kidnapping. You see, it's how we...
How is it any different?
That is the thing. You see, we in Trinidad, the way we view things when...
Hafiz here wants to chime in. Let him chime in. How is it any different?
Well...
If I take your child, whether we think it's our child or not, if I've taken your child and I've left the country, I've kidnapped her.
That's right. More so, there's an order in place that neither party, mother or father, must remove the child out of that jurisdiction. As a matter of fact, I consider that to be the child is a ward of the court.
Right.
Right?
But Rondell, you said it's not illegal.
No, I like what you... That's here. It should be illegal.
Right.
Right?
So it's not that it's worldwide.
No. I mean,
in
other nations, it's not. It is an offense.
Okay.
And the thing is, I like how you spoke about it. Alright, it's kidnapping. Some people will just view it that's the mother taking the child away. That's not kidnapping. Parents can't kidnap their children, but parents sexually abuse their children. Parents physically abuse their children.
That's right.
We see the offenses there. Kidnapping is an offense just as sexual abuse, just as rape, just as abuse. Kidnapping is an offense as well. So why don't we see the offense in that? And most children, and many of the children, speak of the trauma. Because when they're in the other nation, they're always hiding. They don't know where, if daddy going to come. They always told boogeyman stories. Don't tell the police your real name. Change your name. They're afraid of the police. Many
Have
of
you
the children
received a positive response?
No, I haven't, because, again, as I say,
Is this a daughter or a son? Sorry.
a son.
Have you seen your son since?
I saw him, yes, last year in America.
After how many years?
After 8 years, I saw him for the first
How
time.
did you make contact?
I would not like to go into details and that kind of thing.
After seeing him, I mean...
He was amazed. He was
you can't
happy.
bring him back? I'm confused.
There is...
There's a court order?
There's a court order, but again, you have to go back to court. You have to have everything has to goes to court, and action has to be taken. Again, as I say, jurisdiction that she's in, there is no Hague Convention. There is not a signatory to the Hague Convention.
What I would say legally as well.
That is what
if it's a criminal offense, then you can have the extradition request to extradite the offender.
That's right.
Right? So that's why it is important to make it a criminal offense. Because here what's happening now, a lot of immigrants coming into the country, and this is what is happening in Trinidad. I dealt with a case like this already. Somebody, whether it's from Guyana, from Venezuela, Dominica, wherever, they have children with someone, and then they decide they're going to go back to the nation from whence they came. When they go back to that nation isn't signed onto the Hague Convention. We in Trinidad here need to now
so
travel.
without proper policies, if immigration...
Without proper legislation.
Without proper legislation,
right.
If immigration increases, this is a potential problem. It can go up as well.
That's right.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more.
Right.
And we have a fun segment after, talking a little bit about science. And then we'll go right back to talking about parental kidnapping, parental alienation. Don't go anywhere. We're right here. Care.
The authentic power of nature lives in the perfect combination of the extraordinary power of royal jelly with concentrated ancestral anti-hair loss extracts. This is the secret of Tío Nacho Mexican herbs. Stronger hair, more resistant and less hair loss. Tío Nacho Mexican herbs, visibly stronger hair. Tío Nacho, the king of royal jelly that gives new life to your hair.
Parenting is an adventure, and like any other adventure, you've got to work hard and be prepared.
The quest is on.
We're in search for all things parenting. We hear from the kids, from the professionals, and from you, real parents on real issues.
Hey, the adventures of parenting.
Hey, starting this Sunday, November 5th at 5:30 p.m. on CNC3.
The Boss Report with Subhash Ramkilawan. Sound financial advice for investors every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during the CNC3 The Morning Brew. Make sure your week is profitable with the Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Welcome back to Care. Today it is all about parental alienation, parental kidnapping. If you're just joining us, we've heard from Hafiz Parmasad, who has had a story of kidnapping, parental kidnapping, because apparently one's not illegal and one is. And we're also joined by Rondell Fields of the Single Fathers Association. We're going to have a bit of a fun segment. We're going to step away from the heaviness just for a bit, because we're going to learn all about density. This is where the kids get to join in. It's all about science with Jess.
Hey, Jess. Hello. So, welcome to Spaceship Science. Thank you for having me. So today we're going to talk all about density. What is density? It's when
I know what density is.
Hey!
What? Oh, you want to talk to her? You want to tell her what it is?
No, you can go.
You sure you can do it, you know?
No, you can go.
Okay, well, hi. I'm Steve. What's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse? Excellent. Lovely to meet you. Good. What's wrong with your hand? Anyhow, let's just talk about density. So, what density is... Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see you there. You stand right here. Good. What density is essentially everything is made up of tiny little particles. Like him, he's made up of lots of tiny little particles fit into a very tiny space. Okay? And essentially that's what density is. How much can you fit into the same space? So today we're going to do an experiment on density. You want to take it from here? No, I'll keep going. All right, great. So, over here, if you come over here, yeah, you come here too. We have 4 glasses of water set up. We've got salt and we've got 4 watermelons. Right?
Eggs. It's eggs.
You sure?
Yes. It's eggs.
You sure? I'm pretty certain that's a watermelon.
No, that's an egg.
Well, okay.
Give me a break, people.
You're the scientist there, not me. I'm just here to, make sure you guys don't spill anything. So what we're going to do is, in this glass, you're going to take your egg, and you're going to take your egg and you're going to drop it in the glass of water. Okay, so lift your egg up. No, not yet. Wait, not yet. Lift it over the glass. Hang the watermelon over the glass. Just like that. Okay, a little bit closer. You know watermelons break when you drop them, right?
It's an egg for the last time.
You sure about that?
Yep. Yes. I'm positive.
Okay, on the count of 3, you guys are going to release your egg. All right? 1, 2, 7. Oh! You release yours now, Jess.
Whoa.
See what happened there? What happened?
That was so big.
It what?
It sinked.
It sunk. We learn English here as well as science. So, the reason the egg sank was because the egg is more dense than the water. Okay? So, here's what we're going to do now. Pick up your spoons. You're going to take the salt and you're going to put it in the other glass. Put a bunch of salt in there.
No?
Yeah, keep going, man. Well, you know, more in the glass than on the table, but there you go. All right, Jess, now stir your glass. Stir your glass until the salt disappears. You too. Keep going. All right. That should be good and ready.
Then I'm seeing a lot of salt.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, now pick up your eggs again.
Which egg? This one?
Yes, that one. Get ready once again, and on the count of 3, we're going to release it. No, don't. Remember, 3, not 7. Right? Okay? Remember, after 4 comes 5. Right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So what changed?
This one is lifting and this one sunk. Yeah.
All right, why do you think that one didn't sink?
Ooh, I know.
Tell me.
Because first, this has
is more dense.
Is more dense.
How did it become more dense?
Because the salt is just around and surrounding it, so
it would be lifting.
Because we added more particles in the same amount of space.
But this one didn't get any because it didn't have any.
Exactly.
Because water is not necessarily have as much particles as the salt has.
Correct. So we added salt into the same space that the water was just in. So we crammed a whole lot more stuff into the same space, so the water became more dense, and now the watermelon floats.
It's an egg for the last and final time.
Well, it's not. I'm not a botanist. Scientist.
I need you to be honest with me. Do you think Riggs is dangerous?
Very.
LAPD, put your hands in the air!
What? I didn't kill him.
Remember, crossing a highway is a dangerous practice. Always use crosswalks and walkovers where possible.
Randy, let's use a walkover. It's safer. All right.
Your life is precious. Be road safe.
Welcome back to Care. Today it is all about parental alienation and parental kidnapping. If you've missed the last segment, apparently it's not illegal if a parent kidnaps the child. Kidnapping is illegal, but not parental kidnapping. We've heard from Hafiz. He's told what I think is a really tragic story. Before the break, you were telling me a little bit about emergency travel certificate. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that, because it sounds as if that can actually even cause it to be even worse.
Yeah, exactly. And that was our concern over 2 years ago. We actually had Mr. Palmer.
What is the emergency travel certificate?
This is a document that the person who's leaving the jurisdiction, let's say they're from that nation, they go back to their embassy from where they're from and saying, all right, I want to return home, I want to return with my kids, and I don't really intend on getting back here. So I don't have my travel documents, whatever reason, suggest anything or make any lie, possibly say it was destroyed or someone has it in their possession and I don't want to give it to me, my life in danger, and they get it certified from our embassy or whichever embassy that they're going back to, get back to that nation, while the other party or the other parent may have all the valid travel documents. So many children have been moved from jurisdictions in such a manner. One particular...
This just doesn't sound real to me.
It is very real. It happened...
It honestly sounds like you guys are making these things up.
It is very real. The first time I found out about it was over 3 years ago when we had an issue with I
cannot travel with my daughter without her father's written permission.
Well, right. But at the end of the day, if you were residing there, this is what is happening. They go to the embassy for that permission. So we have that the embassy states stamps our document. The photos are on there, the names of the children, the names of the parent, and they are allowed to go back. And just as you find it sounds ridiculous, I find it sounds very ridiculous as well. How do they pass through customs? How do they pass through possibly TSA in the States, or which all these so you don't call to find out if there's a court order in place. You don't call to verify that the other party that
you have stories of this?
Of course, I'm telling you about one that I was personally involved in from Trinidad. I have many from the States to Trinidad, but let me tell you about one from Trinidad to Guyana.
Okay.
We go to the police station. The dad calls me there. The mother is there. We speak to them. The immigration is there as well because the mother is there. I don't know if she's there illegally or she wants to get back. She wants to leave, go back to Guyana or whatever. The dad has the passport in his possession for his son. We believe this is safety, safe grounds. The child can't leave. The matter is she's already served a summons to appear in court for custody. The father wants to apply for custody for the child. So we thought that she could not leave the country.
Because he has travel documents.
Because he has the passport. Only to know, possibly less than a month or so, photos of young man on the plane, photos of young man in the airport in Guyana. So that blows my mind, and I really try to figure out what has taken place. After doing some investigation, and after getting some information, even from scenarios that have taken place in the United States within our Washington embassy, Trinidadian Washington embassy across there, that has been happening across there to here as well. And my big concern about that is that, this is a way that children can be human trafficked as well. And we held a protest.
Certainly sounds so.
Definitely, because if you have a child that can't speak, or a child with a disability, or a child who's young, or 2 years old, or at the end of the day, you walk in and say, this is my child, we want to go back, this is my baby, I want to go back. Someone child has been abducted, and you go into some other half of the world with the people, children, and then, or let's just say, God forbid, that there's some collusion within any embassy, where, you can hear those things when I'm saying there is, but if there is any collusion and you have a friend in there and somebody signs or someone receives money and boom, stamp that paper, and these people are allowed to pass through, clear customs in one country, go back to the other country, clear customs there as well, and there's no checks and balances. This is a grave concern for every parent.
This is worrying me because this is the one awareness I feel I don't want to raise because I don't want people to now know about this emergency travel certificate.
And it's been on my mind sometimes to raise it, but it needs to be raised. And we've had meetings even with the U.S. Embassy. We had a meeting with them. We've even spoken to people as well in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Something needs to happen, but this document that I think people use for possibly for refugees or people who are in life-threatening situations to get out of there. We can't have something that is legal being misused in an illegal way. That's the problem.
Well, it's not illegal. That's a problem too.
Well, no, the down here it isn't illegal, but the document of the emergency travel certificate is a legal document that people utilize. It must not be misutilized. That is the problem. It must be abused. It must not be abused. At the end of the day, you can't use it to leave one nation because you want to run away with the kids when you're mandated by the court not to leave and the other party has the travel documents in their possession forbidding you to leave. So you run to your embassy, you make up an Nancy story, or you know someone in the embassy, I don't know, God forbid that happens in any embassy around the world, and you're granted this document for you and your children to return to this nation. You know this nation does not, in other words, some nations not signed on the Hague Convention, so you know some nations also as well, parental kidnapping is not illegal, so you know you're not going to face any consequence, and you know those children will never see that side of the family ever in life again.
Wowzers, this is some deep stuff. Oh my gosh. I feel like I need another science for Jess. You guys have some good things going on. Tell me about your EU-funded project. Right. I mean, Single Fathers Association, guys, if you haven't liked them on Facebook yet, please
like us.
Like them. I mean, I'm really happy to see that, you know, fathers, as you say, I mean, you guys want to be a part of your children's lives. Right. And I'm happy that you guys are fighting for it. And I'm sad I'm sad that it's so hard for you guys to actually be a part of their lives. And that's really not, that's a shame. But tell me about the EU-funded project that you guys have going on.
Right. This is a project, I mean, we must give a lot of thanks, shout a lot of thanks out to the Emancipation Support Committee, Ms. Zakia Wadada and her team, Kafra Kambon. It actually was spurred out of Ms. Wadada seeing us going on television shows, raising our plights about wanting to be more involved, not appreciating every other weekend, which is 4 days a month. Don't tell me there's enough time for me with my child, and that is the precedent-setting law, which is crazy. And I think she realized that, all right, what can we do to really help them propel themselves, get them structured? What are we going to do? And she gave me a call. There was this project the EU was sending out looking for people who were interested in projects for gender inequality. And we decided that was the perfect opportunity for us to show an inequality that men face. Fathers are facing that inequality. People traditionally don't believe that we are as good a parent. We are emotional. We love our children. We could change pampers. We could do everything. And the project entails a lot of research. So we're going to have a lot of statistics coming out of there. It runs for 3 years. We're about in the second year now. We also trained up to about 30 outreach officers as well, because we know outreach is that's one of the most important things when someone is distressed, when someone is frustrated. I personally, and a lot of the other dads who are part of the organization, personally knew we had nowhere to turn to. Now we know that people turn to us, so we know we need a lot of help. 30, we still need more than those, but it's a start.
Summarize me, what is the project? I mean, if you were to give it to me in one line, what is it?
Empowering single fathers, empowering fatherhood in Trinidad and Tobago, empowering single fathers, giving them avenues to get outreach, building the capacity. We're going to have a distress app built out of it. We're going to also have, a new part that we've brought into it, when it comes to dealing with maintenance, raising research, having statistics as into custody hearings, how many times does a good dad, good mom go to court, how many times does dad get custody opposed to not getting custody. So it's more about empowering single father, which generally will empower father.
Awesome. This is some really good stuff. We're going to hear from you when we come back in our Dear Marsha segment that's sponsored by Look Opticians. Don't go anywhere. It's K, the Adventures in Parenting.
One person. One person.
One person. One person.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
One voice.
Can change the entire world.
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 Dream of possibilities.
Reach beyond our grasp.
Embrace innovation. Educate all children.
Respect our planet.
A single person,
one voice,
can inspire hundreds,
thousands,
millions of people.
Live from Las Vegas, Miss Universe 2017, Confidently Beautiful. Sunday, November 26th at 8 p.m. Live on CNC3.
Welcome back to K. Today it is all about parental alienation, parental kidnapping. We've been joined, if you're now joining us, by Mr. Rondell Fields of the Single Fathers Association and Mr. Hafiz Parmasad, who earlier on told us a very tear-jerking story, if I may say so myself. We're going to find out from you now in our Dear Marsha segment some concerns that you have. If you are not aware, you can send your concerns, your parenting concerns, to info.careparenting@gmail.com, and we will try to address them. Dear Marsha is sponsored by Look Opticians. Thank you very much, Look, for seeing the vision in parenting. Let's hear from you. Dear Marsha, my 3-year-old daughter went over by her dad and was assaulted by his new girlfriend's 6-year-old son. She's supposed to see him tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? I cannot get an appointment in time to prove that she's telling the truth. Should I answer that? Should you answer that? I think I'm going to let you guys answer that because this is real.
Right.
I'm hearing your side of the story.
Right.
I mean, because then you could say, well, she's alienating my child.
Right.
She's thinking she's protecting her child. What is she supposed to do?
That's why I look at it at two-pronged, full. Because definitely you have to look at both sides. Because I personally have seen both sides, where one, the person may be telling the truth and really concerned or possibly had heard something that made them more afraid. Or two, a false allegation being made to parent alienate, which is a common thing.
Sorry, Mom, so just stop it.
As you say,
stop it.
It's frustrating to be in the center and not knowing what's really taking place. So, I see this all the time. That is why it's so important. And I do think that the Children Authority and the Child Protection Unit, because I have cases in the vice versa, when... So
in her case...
Right. But the same exact scenario.
So in her case, because to me, it's a time issue, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say that you've gone over by Daddy on Monday.
Right.
You come home on Monday afternoon and you say, Mom, this has happened.
Right.
But Single Fathers Association, you've been doing a really good job. And so now it's not till next week. It's tomorrow. We're doing we have that really...
Once an allegation like that is made, the normal thing, which I know and I've seen many times, you go to the police station.
So she needs to go to the police station
with the child
now before she goes back.
Immediately, go to the police station. Most of the times they would refer you to the Child Protection Unit, which is the new branch that has been dealing with children who have been...
And that's a 24-hour
thing?
they'll
be able to get someone in the Child Protection
Unit. So if
Unit.
my child comes at 9 p.m.,
whatever
I
time,
can be
they'll
there
get
by
someone to come up.
9:30?
Even if the normal police is there, they'll get someone from the Child Protection Unit to interview the child. Possibly what they will do most times is not allow the child to return. The Children Authority speak with the child. I've seen instances when the child, even though the father may have had custody, was not allowed to go back to the home until he was cleared, until there was cleared that there was no foul play that took place there. I don't know how this was allowed to happen. In this scenario, somebody definitely would have dropped the ball. But because...
Sometimes I think these things happen as well because parents don't know their rights.
Right. Well, does it? If you don't know, and you don't know, but any allegation like this, I would suspect that you would go to the police station first. Whether you know there's a Child Protection Unit or not,
that's right,
you would definitely go.
But the truth is, people do not go to the police first.
Because some parents, they cover up situations like that. Grandparents especially. Because take, for example, if the child is with the mother is living at her mother, which is the child's grandmother. Some things happen. The grandmother is who was looking at the child at the time. She covers it up. The time the child goes home by the father and news, there's no evidence. Or nobody is going, or how the system operates, it takes a little while for something to happen. And what we need is to have more action than talk. Laws are being passed, but most of the laws are not being enforced.
But
we need enforcement.
What I would say, particularly in scenarios like this, where there's a nature of any sexual allegation, I would say that the Children Authority and the Child Protection Unit, once informed that they will stop everything, whatever order is in place,
they will stop it.
They stop everything, investigation. They go to the testing to make sure what is saying is true. What's being said is true. And as I said, it works both ways. It's something that you have to do. It could leave a bad stigma if it's a false allegation. There's no penalty for false allegations being made, which is another issue. But
so right now, making a false allegation, there are no penalties.
There are no penalties. None.
And there should be.
Yeah, there should be.
You're wasting police time.
I'm sure you can be charged with wasting police time.
But it don't happen.
And even if that happens, then a lot of people often say, and not only false allegation was made against dads, I had a scenario when a false allegation was made against a grandmother and her grandson, and we had to stand up for the grandmother, the mother of the father. So there must be something put in place to, penalize false allegations. But because we understand if it's a sensitive scenario like this, I can't disagree with them stopping it and investigating it at all. But there must be punishment if you make a false allegation.
Agreed. Totally agree. We're going to go to a break. Guys, we're discussing parental alienation, parental kidnapping. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the conversation continues. Actually, I think when we come back, we talk about Christmas. We can use a break from the heaviness. Don't go anywhere. It's Kale.
With over 50 years of trusted excellence, Target Corned Beef is the leading brand you know and trust. Choose the more delicious, leaner option. Target Corned Beef in regular, halal, and less salt. Available at stores nationwide.
An Ansa McCall Group company.
Beauty queen of only 18, she had some trouble with herself.
From its iconic skyline to its major fashion cred, China's vibrant modern metropolis makes the perfect backdrop for the world's sexiest runway. Tune in to the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show 2017, live from Shanghai, China, Wednesday, November 29th at 11 p.m. on CNC3.
Welcome back to Kale. It is all about the adventures of parenting. Today's topic, real. Kidnapping, alienation. Can we take a break from the heavy stuff?
Yeah.
Because it's the most wonderful time of the year. I love that you're wearing red. It is Christmas. It is Christmas. Let me tell you, when I was planning this segment, now my whole team are men. Right. One day we'll bring them, we'll tell all the cameramen to bring them here, yeah?
Good man.
But let me tell you, they were watching me like I'm crazy, because I'm like walking around, guys, it's the most wonderful time of the year. We have to do Christmas. So, we have decided
to do Christmas.
So we have Care Christmas tips.
Right.
It's a bit of an emotional journey for me because, of course, you all know the show, the genesis of the show, if you guys don't know. It's all about my journey on parenting. Right. Just like you, we don't want to say it's trial and error, but we've decided that we want to be, the best parents that we can be. We're really dedicated to doing it. There are a lot of hills and valleys through it all.
I love it still.
And if we can somehow share our journey and empower others on their journey, then you know what? All the emotion of it all will somehow be worth it.
Yeah.
So for us, we had learned a lot of different lessons during Christmas. And so we have a lot of tips for parents who are going through, Christmas isn't fun for everyone. That's the truth. It's not fun for everyone. We're in economically challenged times right now. I cannot imagine what some parents are going to face during Christmas. I can only imagine, Hafiz, what Christmas would have been like for you going through the ordeal. And so if we can in any way make this season just a little bit easier, we're committed to doing that. So here's the first Christmas tip. I remember one year during the Christmas season, Jess was around 13 months old and I was still being paid the big bucks in the traditional corporate world. We just left the mall after spending thousands of dollars on Christmas tree decorations. Mind you, my tree done already looking like a mall tree, but our priorities were still skewed back then. We bought dinner and upon entering our car, a man approached us for money. I didn't have cash, so I offered him our dinner. I also gave the little boy one of Jess's toys. He thanked us and walked off. While driving off, I looked back in the rearview mirror and I will always remember the smile on the little boy's face as he walked along the car park, playing with the toy. That day changed our perspective on Christmas forever. Ever since, Christmas has been a time of giving for us. A tradition that ended up serving us very well when I left my job and times got really tough financially. When you give, it builds a sense of gratitude for the little that you have because it helps you see that there are so many people with less than you do. There's always someone with less and there's always a reason to be grateful. Make Christmas a time for giving. Make Christmas a time for giving. There is always someone worse off. And, there are more tips coming, so I'm not going to go into the entire story of all the lessons that we learned during Christmas time. That was supposed to be joyful. That's what it was supposed to be.
But it was joyful.
It was, okay,
but
fine.
Tears brings, sometimes it brings tears, right?
Yeah. So let's make Christmas a time for giving. Hafiz, how is Christmas for you now?
Well, I don't really celebrate Christmas, so Christmas is like a normal day for me. Because I'm not Christian.
Okay.
Right, good.
Okay. I think that might be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, in disguise. Because I can imagine how painful that is. I can imagine. I mean, I've been through it to an extent with parental alienation. I don't want to make this topic heavy.
Well, I mean, listen, we talk about the heavy topics, we talk about the taboo, and the truth is, I know for myself, for my daughter, it's a really difficult time. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a divorced home. Right. You know, I mean, my daughter's now growing up in a single mother home. Her father lives away. And it is a time, it's a bittersweet moment because we try our best to really, really make it the best. Focus on all the positives. But the truth is, you're watching everybody else with mommy, daddy, and not everyone. In my home, I thank my parents. They really did put it all aside. And weird stuff went on where like ex-wives and wives and everybody came together on the same day. And I totally appreciated that. But that's not the case for most parents. You know, it's not the case for most kids. How does it work?
And that's it. I mean, that's why I encourage parents who in this scenario and have children born into this scenario to be able, all right, our intimate relationship has ended, let's partner to parent. And that's so important. I've seen it happen with my kids in the beginning, for sure. Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, it was so hard and you're fighting over a day. This is your holiday, my holiday, so you can't come by you for Christmas, can't come by you for Boxing Day. I mean, most of the time when the child is small, there's this scuffle. But I thank God now that, I mean, my kids' moms and myself, we understand the value now, I would say, of both of us playing that part. So they want to go by daddy, they go by daddy. They want to go by mommy, go by mommy. They want to go Boxing Day, daddy. So, I mean, and we live in close vicinity too. So I just drop them, pick them up. So at the end of the day, it's about what they want to do at one point in time. That's their free time. Get a gift by granny, get a gift by this one. And I mean, now I would say, I think it comes with maturity. We have to find that place, people, single parents who are currently in that kind of distortion. You need to forget that. And at the end of the day, come together to parent. So these children can have a
Your association's doing some really good things, and I know we're running out of time. So I really want to quickly talk about I Love My Community 7.
Yes.
Tell me, when is it? What is it about?
Well, first of all, it's on the 17th of December this year, 2017. We always have it the Sunday before Christmas. This year we partnered with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. We partnered last year. We have a lot of sponsors that have come on board since then. Firepower Fireworks. We must thank him. He always has the greatest fireworks finale. We have Harmon Motor Dealers. We have myself. I'm a sponsor, Millennium Motor Dealers. Darren Car Sales. Nipdeck is a sponsor as well. So, I mean, it's about sharing love in that time. I remember when I started this, I'm the vice president of the Foreign News Association, and we actually started it under that heading, before Single Fathers Association, to really give back to the community as businessmen, one. And I looked at Christmas. Sometimes we have so much to give our kids as not only businessmen, but as people that may be well off. And some children don't get anything. And I thought, well, all right, we could fill up a truck as businessmen and go and give everybody gifts. And then at that time I said, nah. A gift is something that before the halfway into the other year, it'll be destroyed. But if we create something that will give them a memory will last forever.
Spend money
and change someone's life. And this I Love My Community has been a pillar not only in my life, my children's life. They look forward. My son, who's 10, going to be 10 in December, he told me, Dad, so when you get older and you die, we have to carry it on. I said, definitely, you have to do that. So, I mean, it's become something to even the children in the community of Kunupe as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. You have 10 seconds. Any closing comments?
I would like to say to the state where cases like mine where children are being taken out of the jurisdiction, the state should be assisting the fathers or the mother, whichever parent, with funding through their embassy or consulate in whichever jurisdiction the child is being taken to. That's my final comment.
Thank you, guys. It's been great. Join us next week for some more adventures in parenting. This is Kay. episode of Care was brought to you by Target Corned Beef.
You're watching CNC3.
My friend Sherry Weston and her two adorable children, David and Lily, are coming to cook with me today. I thought, what should we make? What do kids like? Hello, pizza. And we're all involved in the process. It's build your own pizzas topped with lots of cheese and a lemony arugula salad on top. Plus, delicious garlic oil infused with fresh herbs and hot pepper flakes. Then for dessert, double trouble. Chocolate fudge cake with rich chocolate buttercream. And the kids will be decorating it with all kinds of candy. This is back to basics, cooking with kids. But the grown-ups are going to be having fun too. In my experience, the only thing kids like more than chocolate cake is a huge chocolate cake. So I'm going to make a double fudge sheet cake for Lily and David Palmer, and I think they're going to just love it. First, I need 2.5 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. Just want to make sure there's no leavening in it. Okay, the next thing is cocoa powder. It's really important for good chocolate cake.